Hello everyone. Today we will get on with our next module, that is Introduction to Information Technology. In this module there are two units that we will be dealing with. The first unit is all about information technology, IT application in commerce, business, e-waste and green computing, automation and artificial intelligence in accounting system, and in second unit we will be studying on financial system, procedure and related IT application, internal control, authorization, security of data and compliance with business, fraud and fraudulent behavior and their prevention in business including money laundering. Let us have a brief idea on what the module is all about and know what information technology means. Given the rate at which information technology is growing, the future will be defined not how intelligent humans are, but how intelligent machines will be. Social media, e-banking, big data analytics, business intelligence, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, etc. are the terms that we hear very often. Technology has drastically changed the way we live, the way we interact with people, the different tasks that we do, the various products and services we consume and use. IT has had an impact on almost everything what we do. It is really difficult to predict how we will live our life after a few years. The recent news of influencing voters' behavior through a social media is a classic example of what is there in store for mankind. Let us now look up to some basic concepts used in information technology. Basic terms and concepts. The first term we will learn is informatics. The term informatics was first used by Carl Steinbuch, a German computer scientist, in 1957. In 1994, the School of Informatics, University of Edinburgh in Scotland, gave a general meaning of informatics as the study of the structure, algorithm, behavior and interaction of natural and artificial computational system. It is also defined as the science of processing data for storage and retrieval. In a nutshell, informatics is the study and application of information and information technology in everyday process. The second term we will know about is information technology and information system. Information technology is a general term that describes any technology that helps to produce, manipulate, store, communicate and or disseminate information. In the above definition, there are two things which are noteworthy. First one is information and second one is technology. Information derived from the verb inform, which means impart knowledge of some fact, state or affairs. Communication implies the process by which information is passed on to one another. The usage of technology to improve communication can be termed as communication technology, and that usage of technology to improve on information can be described as information technology. The world around has significantly drifted in the flow of technology driven by the internet and information technology. There are over 7 billion. 7 billion means 700 crore users of internet currently. China has the largest number of internet users, followed by India. The usage of internet and information technology has brought in a new set of words into our vocabulary. The new word so coined start with E, where E stands for electronic. The sum total of all these attributes result in what we call electronic world or E-world. The various constituents of E-world are email, which means electronic mail. Most commonly abbreviated email is a method of exchanging digital message. Next is e-commerce. E-commerce means electronic commerce, commonly known as e-commerce. consists of buying and selling of product or service over electronic system such as the internet and other computer networks. Next is e-shopping, which means online shopping is the process whereby consumer directly buy goods, service, etc. from a seller interactively in the real-time environment without an intermediary service over the internet. Then comes e-business, which means electronic business, commonly referred to as e-business, may be defined as the application of information and communication technology in support of all operations of business. Then the other one is e-ticket. An electronic ticket or e-ticket is the digital form of paper ticket purchased online. E-paper, which means electronic paper or e-paper or electronic ink display, is a display technology designed to mimic the appearance of ordinary ink on paper. Electronic paper resembles the ordinary paper. E-reader. Electronic reader will assist reading of documents and books in a handheld device, example Amazon Kindle. E-book, short for electronic book and also known as digital book, is an e-text that is the digital media equivalent of a conventional printed book. Next is e-governance, is the application of information and communication technology for delivering government service to citizens and other stakeholders. E-learning, which means e-learning is defined as all forms of electronic supported learning and teaching. Information and communication systems serve as a digital media to implement the learning process. Next is e-library, which means it is a library in which collections are stored in digital formats as opposed to print, microforms or other media and accessible by computer. The digital content may be stored locally or accessed remotely via computer networks. And finally comes e-payment, which means it's a way of making transaction or paying for goods and service through an electronic medium without use of check or cash. The next term we will be learning is information system. An information system can be defined as set of coordinated networks of components which act together towards producing, distributing and or processing information. Information system generate information from data. Data is in the form of raw material and it is subjected to some manipulation to generate useful information. A computer-based information system is an information system which uses computer technology to aid in decision making. Next, we are going to discuss about data and information. Information and data are two different things. Data consists of numbers, letters, symbols, raw facts, events and transactions which have been recorded but not yet processed into a form that is suitable for making decision. Now we discuss on type of data. There are several type of data that an organization may gather. Quantitative data is that which is capable of being measured numerically. For example, the standard labor hour required to produce 1 unit of output. Qualitative data is not capable of being measured numerically but may reflect distribution characteristics. For example, the grade of labor used to produce the unit of output. Data is said to be discrete when it can only take on specific fixed values. For example, the actual number of vehicles through a car wash per day could be 35 but not 35.3. Whereas continuous data takes on any numerical values and we could in an 8 hours day measure the throughput of car as 4.375 per hour, that is 35 cars per 8 hours. Let us now study different sources of data. A researcher can collect his required information from the two sources, namely primary and secondary. Thus, he is provided with two types of data known as primary data and secondary data. When the researcher himself trying to collect the data for his particular purpose from the source available, it becomes primary data. Therefore, primary data are those collected by the investigator himself for the first time, and thus they are original in character. Primary data is collected for a particular inquiry. For example, by observation, employees would be observed performing a value adding activity when established a standard time for the activity. Next is secondary data. Secondary data are those which have been collected by some other person for his purpose and published. Secondary data are usually in the shape of finished product. For instance, data collected by a trade association from a number of firms and comprising trade association statistics would become secondary data when used by a firm in the sector making an inquiry of its own. Data needs to be collected and summarized in the form required by the user. When will a data become an information? Information is data that has been processed in such a way that it has becoming to the person that receive it, who may then use it to improve the quality of their decision making. Let us understand the concept better with an illustration how data turns into information. 25 employees from the finance department of a large organization took an introductory course in computing. The test at the end of the course resulted in the mark shown below. The mark were out of 50 and pass mark was 20 out of 50. At the moment, this data is simply not useful. To give it meaning, we need to process it and turn into information. There are actually many ways that this data can be turned into information. For example, we could simply calculate the percentage of students who passed the assessment. In this case, 19 employees out of 25 passed or 76%. Alternatively, for more detail, we could create a frequency distribution, mark obtained frequency. This chart shows that the 19 employees that passed the test are in the top 3 class interval, and those that fail, 6 employees, are in the bottom 2 intervals. However, data is processed. We can use it to make key decisions. For instance, we could compare these results to those of other classes and identify whether there were any problem with it. Thus, we can understand that information is essential to an organization and is required both internally and externally. As information is so important to the business, it is vital that the business only relies on good information. Good information helps in decision making process, is useful to the recipient and can be relied upon. To be good information should have the following characteristics, which you can remember using the acronym ACCURATE. Let us know the acronym ACCURATE in detail. A for accurate, which means information should be sufficiently accurate for its intent, purpose, and the decision making should be able to rely on the information. C for complete, which means more complete information is more reliable. Next, C stands for cost, which means information should not cost more to obtain than the benefit derived from it. U as understandable and user-friendly information. And R implies relevant, which means information provided should concentrate on the essential and ignore trivia. Next, A stands for adaptable, which means information should be tailored to the needs and levels of understanding of its intended recipients. T for timely. Timely means information that is out of date is a waste of time, effort, and money. And finally, E stands for easy to use. The information should be clearly presented and sent using right medium and communication channel. The good information is needed for both management and various third parties. Management require information to provide records, both current and historical. Next is to analyze what is happening in the business to provide the basis for decision making in short and long term, to monitor the performance of the business by comparing actual result with plans and forecasts. This information will be used by various third parties, including the shareholders or owners, who will want to know how their investment is performing. Next, customer and suppliers, who will want to know how stable the business is and therefore whether it will be reliable trading partners. Next, employees, who will have an interest in the performance of the organization and how it impacts on the job security and pay. Last, government agencies such as tax authorities. In the modern business world, many organizations hold and process vast amount of data and information. This would not be practical to do manually, so they rely on automated system to perform handling and storage required. Information system refer to the management and provisions of information to support the running of the organization. Information technology describe any equipment concerned with the capture, storage, transmission or presentation of data. Put simply, IT is the hardware infrastructure that runs the information system. This will include desktop, laptop, servers, printers and hard disk used by the organization. Let us know the support system such hardware, software, databases, networks and procedures. Firstly, hardware, which comprises the device like monitor, processor, printer and keyboard. All devices work together to accept, process, show data and information. Software, which are the programs that allows the hardware to process the data. Database, which refer to the gathering of associated files or tables containing related data. Networks, which refers to the system of linking two or more computing devices together for the purpose of sharing data. And finally, procedures, which are the commands for combining the components above, which help in processing information and producing the preferred output. The first four components, hardware, software, database and network, are together known as information technology platform. Let us now learn on different computer hardware. A few components of computer makes up of its appearance and performance. Commonly referred to as computer peripherals, this makes the computer sleeker, faster and more user-friendly. Few of those are discussed below. Firstly, input hardware. Input hardware consists of devices that allow people to enter data into computer in a form that computer can use. Example, keyboard, mouse, touchpad, light pen, graphic tablet, joysticks, scanner, webcam, and microphones. Secondly, processing and memory hardware. The brain of the computer are the processing and memory device which are installed in the case or system cabinet. For example, processor chip, memory chips, motherboard, video board, sound card. Thirdly, software hardware like hard disk, CD, DVD, Blu-ray disc, USB, external hard disk, memory cards. Fourth one is output hardware like monitors, printer, speakers. The last one is communication hardware like modem, network interface controller. Next, we are going to deal with computer software. Software refers to a set of instructions or programs directing a computer to do specific set of tasks. Software is a generic term used to describe script, application, and computer programs. It consists of code written by programmers in any of the computer language which result in carefully organized instruction which computer will understand and execute. There are two types of software, system software and application software. Let us to know them in detail. Firstly, system software. It is the computer software designed to operate the computer hardware and to provide and maintain a platform for running application software. System software including operating systems, assemblers, compilers, file management tools, system utilities, and debuggers. The assemblers and compilers are programs which converts the source code written by human to a machine language. The debuggers are computer programs that help in the detection and correction of errors in other computer programs. There are three types of system software. Operating system, for instance Windows, Unix, Linux, Mac OS, etc. Device drivers like printer, USB device driver, etc. Utility program like antivirus, disk defragmenter, disk partition, etc. Secondly, application software. Application software, also known as application or apps, are computer software designed to help the users to perform singular or multiple related specific tasks. Example include Tally, Office Suite like Microsoft Office, graphics software and media players. There are differences between system software and application software. They are given below. It is important that organizations are aware of the advantage and disadvantage of common software application to ensure that they choose a right application for the right task, especially spreadsheet. Spreadsheets are designed to analyze data and sort list of items, not for long-term storage of raw data. A spreadsheet should be used for crunching numbers and storage of single list of items. They also include graphing function and that allows for quick reporting and analysis of data. The software has its own advantages such as relatively easy to use, require little training to get started. Most data managers are familiar with them. Disadvantages as data must be recopied over and over again to maintain it in separate data files. They are unable to efficiently identify data errors, lack of detailed sorting and querying abilities. There can be sharing violation among users wishing to view or change data at the same time. They are often restricted to a finite number of records and can require a large amount of hard drive space for data storage. Next one is databases. To store large amounts of raw data, it is best to use a database. This is especially true in circumstances where two or more users share the information. Database also have its own advantages, such as most important benefit gained by using a database is the ease of reporting and sharing data. Database require a little or no duplication of data between information tables. Changes made to the data do not corrupt the programming. Database offer better security to restrict users from accessing privileged information and from changing coded information in the programming. Disadvantages as require the user to learn a new system, require a greater investment in training and software, and the initial time and cost of migrating all of the data into a new database system is significant. The next one is accountancy packages. Many businesses choose to utilize specialized software packages that record and process the individual transaction within the business rather than relying on manual records. These accounting packages are often designed to automatically produce year-end accounts and management reports when requested. Its advantages are rapid recording of transaction when compared to a manual system, lower likelihood of mistakes, rapid production of reports and financial statements. Its disadvantages usually requires training before use. Packages can be expensive to purchase and install. It may be necessary for a small business with low number of transactions. Next concept we will learn about is operating system. The operating system, also called software platform, consists of a collection of programs that manages basic operation of a computer. The operation system take care of handling the control and uses of hardware resources like disk space, memory, CPU, time allocation, and peripheral devices. The operating system allows you to concentrate on your own task or application rather than on the complexities of managing your computer. Each application software is designed to run the environment defined by the system software. This means that software developed for Windows will not work on Linux. Operating system is a program that acts as an intermediary between a user of a computer and computer hardware. There are various types of operating system. Let us now discuss each one. Type of operating systems are multitasking OS, multi-programming OS, multi-processing OS, single user OS, multi-user OS, time sharing OS, network OS, real-time OS. The other very common word is Windows. Let us know more about this concept. Windows. Microsoft Windows is a series of operating systems and graphically user interface produced by Microsoft. Microsoft first introduced an operating environment named Windows in November 1985 as an add-on to MS-DOS in response to the growing interest in graphical user interfaces. Microsoft Windows came to dominate the world personal computer market, overtaking macOS, which had been introduced previously. The most recent client version of Windows is Windows 10. These are different versions of Windows. Next OS is Unix. Unix is a computer operating system originally developed in 1969 by a group AT&T employees at Bell Labs. Unix operating systems are widely used in both servers and workstation. The Unix environment and the client-server program model were critically in the development of the Internet. The developers of Internet built their communication system around Unix because it has the ability to do large computing for many days without shutdown. Unix was on the idea that power of system comes from the relationship among different programs rather than on the individual program themselves. Unix programs are written so that they work together. The another OS is Linux. Linux refers to the family of Unix like computer operating system that uses Linux kernel. It is the finest example of all the current source software. It can be freely used, copy, modified. The name Linux comes from its inventor Linus Torvalds, who originally wrote it in 1991. Linux can be installed on a wide variety of computer hardware ranging from mobile phone, tablet, computer and video game console to mini frames and supercomputers. Linux is predominantly known for its use in server. However, desktop use for Linux has become increasingly popular in recent years, partly owing to the popular Ubuntu. Different Linux versions and they are Ubuntu, Elementary OS, Debian Linux and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Next is free software movement. In the beginning days of computing, software was generally free as it was shared among the researchers and developers who were working hard to improve it. As computers become more common, proprietary software developed as the business model for software companies. Proprietary software is owned by the company which developed the software. User can use the software only after paying the licensing fee. Besides, there are always restrictions on its use. Example, it could be used only on a single computer, not to be shared with friends, etc. All source code of proprietary software is the intellectual property of the company and always kept as secret. Software that is not proprietary is categorized into two: freeware and free software. Freeware is a software that is released for use without any licensing fee or charges. The user is free to use the software on his/her computer. But as in case of proprietary software, the source code is the intellectual property of the company and is kept as a secret. For a freeware is Adobe Acrobat Reader, Google Chrome, etc. The user can install Adobe Acrobat Reader or Google Chrome in his system but is prohibited from accessing or modifying the source code. Free software. Free software is a software that gives the user the freedom to share, study and modify it. It is called free software, not because there is no licensing fee or charge, but because the user is free from restrictions. The user have the freedom to use, copy, distribute, study, change and improve the software. Free software implies that use of a free software program have four essential freedom: the freedom to run the program as you wish for any purpose, the freedom to study on how program works and adapt it to your needs, the freedom to redistribute copies, the freedom to improve the program and release your improvement to the public so that the whole community benefit. Access to source code is a precondition for this for the above rights which is granted to the user. Freeware is not free software, but free software is generally freeware. The free software movement or free open source software movement emphasizes that everyone should be liberated in the cyberspace. Free software gives users the control of their own computing, whereas non-free software put its users under power of the software developers. Example of open source software include Linux kernel, Mozilla Firefox, OpenOffice, etc. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Keep learning.